Hola a todos, soy Esta.
Y yo soy Fabiola Ramírez.
Les damos la bienvenida a En la misma página, un podcast en el cual vamos a comentar y desglosar todo tipo de libros.
Somos dos personas que disfrutamos de la lectura y nos encanta explorar diferentes puntos de vista.
Acompáñenos en cada episodio a disfrutar de las reseñas y aprendizajes que cada lectura nos va dejando.
Spoiler alert, este episodio puede echarte a perder el final del libro.
Que lo disfruten. Hola, ¿cómo están? Bienvenidos a un episodio más de En la misma página. Yo soy Esta y estoy con Fabiola Ramírez, con las invitadas de hoy que estamos felices de tener a Lucía Todd y Emma Seppälä. Bienvenidas.
Hola, hola.
Lucía es la presidenta de la Casa Editora Lucía Todd y es tu primer traducción este libro, ¿correcto?
Sí, tenemos varios libros, pero este es el primer libro que publicamos con la Casa Editora, que es originalmente en el idioma inglés y que ahora está accesible para todas las personas que prefieren leer en español.
Estamos de fiesta presentando esta traducción que se llama Soberanía. El libro en inglés se llama Sovereign, no sé cómo se pronuncia. Sovereign. Platíquenos un poquito la historia de ustedes dos. Tell us about your story, how you met and how this project came to life.
Yo quiero interrumpir un poquito. Este episodio va a estar en inglés y en español porque Emma habla inglés, pero entiende perfecto el español. También lo habla, porque ya la escuché hablar, pero prefieren contestar en inglés. Entonces vamos a hacer las preguntas en inglés y en español para que ahí vayan sabiendo que
dinámico
es en Spanish. Ahora sí, go ahead.
Sure. Bueno, Emma y yo somos amigas porque yo viví en París, en Francia, con mi familia, en secundaria y prepa, y ella nació en París, en Francia. Entonces somos amigas desde aquel entonces. Y pasaron los años y reconectamos después cuando vino el maravilloso Facebook, que empezabas a reconectar con todo el mundo. Y cuando yo empecé a hacer mi doctorado, mi tesis doctoral, que tenía que ver con temas de bienestar y de felicidad, empiezo tipo a checar literal así de que en internet, de que quiénes son los expertos en felicidad, y me sale Emma Seppälä, y yo, ¿cómo? ¡Qué increíble! Entonces, contacto a Emma, empezamos a platicar, y ella llevaba más de 20 años en la Universidad de Yale investigando temas de felicidad, en temas también de liderazgo, todo lo que tenía mucho que ver con mi tesis. Y aparte y activamente está en la Universidad de Stanford, en donde investigan temas de compasión y altruismo, y ella dirige ese programa, y a mí también me encanta ese tema. Entonces, reconectamos padrísimo, y un día me manda su borrador del libro que iba a publicar en inglés, que era Soberanía, Sovereign, y lo leí. Y hace cuenta que de esas veces ustedes saben mejor que nadie. Cuando empiezas a leer un libro que tipo, o sea, me lo escribieron a mí, ya sabes, de que hablaba de la autocrítica, hablaba de la ansiedad, hablaba de cómo a veces nunca es suficiente, pero habla de todos estos aspectos que yo llevaba muchos años estudiando, que era la felicidad, que muchas veces haces todas las prácticas de felicidad, pero sigue sin ser suficiente. Y dices, ¿por qué no es suficiente? O sea, ¿qué es lo que está faltando? Y entonces ella, ahorita que les platique, pero más o menos ella lo que hace es encontrar ese pedacito ya sabes, del rompecabezas que falta, y escribe este increíble libro que es de bienestar y que está basado en 20 años de investigación, ¿no? Científica, en academia, que eso pues le da mucho fundamento hoy que todo el mundo habla de bienestar, pero pues qué mejor que algo que ya ha sido tan probado. Y entonces yo iba empezando la Casa Editora y dije, ¿sabes qué? Yo voy a ver si se viene, o sea, nunca sabes, ¿verdad? Yo ya tenía varias personas a las que le estaba trabajando su libro, pero nunca había traducido un libro, ni mucho menos, ni editado un libro del inglés al español. Y le hablé y le pregunté, me dijo, déjame checo con Hay House y con su publicista, etcétera. Y de repente un buen día me llega el correo de que, ¿sabes qué? Sí, se pudo, padrísimo. Y yo tipo, ¡ay Dios! ¿Y ahora qué hago? Ok. Y pues a trabajar, y trabajamos en él más de un año y medio. Más de un año y medio. Y estamos felices de tenerlo porque representa todo lo que la Casa Editora quiere ofrecer al mundo hispanohablante, que es herramientas de bienestar en estas épocas que a veces se sienten tan caóticas, ¿no? Entonces,
muchas felicidades, de verdad. Y gracias por tener esta como visión a que puedas compartir otros idiomas, porque es súper importante que muchas veces nos limitamos a los libros que son una joya, pero están en un idioma y no los puedes compartir porque está esta limitante, esta barrera del idioma. Entonces, pues gracias por hacerlo para todos. Y mi primera pregunta, y cuando vi el libro y cuando me lo platicó que íbamos a estar entrevistando, dije, el título. The title is really strong, sovereign. Y para mí, cuando escucho esa palabra, luego me remoto a los temas políticos, como al Estado soberano o a la religión. Why sovereign in a person?
Yeah, because as a psychologist, there are terms for well-being, there are terms for self-confidence, terms like that, but there was no term for how to have that inner freedom to completely be yourself. And without unhindered by beliefs, behaviors, or concepts that are keeping you small, that are keeping you in a place where you're not fully yourself. So 70% of people on their deathbed regret not living the life that they wanted to live, which is tragic. It's a lot of people. And so there was no term for that in psychology. So I thought we need a new term. And sovereignty is, that self-governance that allows you and the idea of everyone living at their greatest potential is so important right now because of what's going on. And it's what we want for our children. And it's what every human being is born with and deserves. So.
And what inspired you to do this? What was the little seed that you followed to have all this?
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, it was personal in one sense. I was doing all the happiness practices, but after having kids, my health went down. And I just got really weak physically. And I realized that you can do all the happiness practices in the world, but if you're still highly self-critical, if you're still engaging in behaviors that may be harmful to you, it doesn't matter that you're doing those things. You're still struggling. And then during the pandemic, when there was so much fear and everything, and I thought that idea of sovereignty, of like, being in touch with something that is greater than those things that can make you feel small, that can make you feel afraid. So that was an inspiration. And then the book came to me. Like every chapter, I have it all in my head already, and I just wrote it down. I mean, added the science, added some funny stories for entertainment and also for validation. But it felt like it came to me and to write for these times. Because it feels like this is what people need, and especially women, I mean, both men and women can read the book and enjoy it, but I teach women leaders at the Yale School of Management, and I see cohorts and cohorts of very talented women come through, and what I see is, what's the biggest thing standing in their way is not the glass ceilings, not the misogyny, it's their relationship with themselves. And I really wanted to write a book. It's for everyone, but in my heart of hearts, it's especially for women.
Wow. Me llama mucho la atención a mí también el título. ¿Cómo, voy a decir en español porque me voy a poder expresar mejor? Como decía Fabiola, cuando lo vemos como algo político, la soberanía, parece todo lógico y parece que así debe de ser y que nadie tiene derecho, ni un otro país tiene derecho a venir a nuestro país, irrumpir dentro de nuestro país y meterse en cosas que básicamente no les importan. Pero cuando estamos hablando de personas, pareciera que no existe esa soberanía. Me fascinó el nombre porque creo que como personas debemos defender nuestra soberanía con uñas y dientes, muy fuerte.
Sí, es verdad. Pero hay unas cosas que no aprendemos en la escuela, no aprendemos en la universidad. Y entonces vivimos nuestra vida y we fall prey to ways of thinking, behaving that are harmful to us. We don't question it. For example, the self-criticism. Like when you're highly self-critical, people think, okay, well, that's good. That leads to self-improvement. No, the research shows it leads to anxiety, depression, fear of failure, lack a willingness to try again. The opposite of resilience. Mm-hmm. The self-awareness is good, like knowing where you need help, what you need to learn. But self-criticism puts you down. So you have to think like, why are most of us running this program? Like 95% of people are highly self-critical. 80% of millennials believe they are not good enough with regards to almost every area of their life.
What's the difference between self-critical and self-awareness?
So self-awareness is, for example, I'm having trouble with parenting, for example. Let's see if I can have a parenting expert help me with this situation. right?
Okay.
That's self-criticism is I'm such a bad mom, like what, I'm a failure.
The way
blah,
you
blah.
talk to yourself and the way you resolve the problem is a difference between both concepts.
Yes. And for a lot of people, when they make a mistake, they say very harsh things to themselves that they would never say to their child or they would never say to a friend. So sovereignty is seeing that and being like, questioning it. Like, this is, maybe everybody's doing it, but this is not working for me or for anybody else. And when you see something, you cannot unsee it. And you have the opportunity to change it. See that? And it's kind of like if you go to a different country, let's say you go from Mexico to another country, whatever other country, there's a different culture. And you'll see things you like, and you'll see things you don't like. And you'll see things that are different from your culture. So then you can decide, like, I like that better. Like when I moved from France to the US, in France, people are negative. In the US, they're more positive. And I came to the US and I was like, that's it. I'm done with that negativity. I like the positivity. Then I spent some time in the US and I was like, wow, people think they are what they do. They work themselves to the bone. They believe that achievement is everything, that's how they're going to become lovable or valuable. And I thought, that's not healthy right there. So I fell for it at the beginning because I was in the culture. And then I was like, no, this is, first of all, it's not true. And second of all, it's not healthy. So when you see something, then you can become sovereign over it. If you don't see it because you're in it, then it's harder. So.
And this book helps you see these things or help you overcome those barriers?
Both. It's pointing out things that are standing in our way that we fail to question. It's inviting the reader to question it, and it's providing practical things that you can do.
Because sometimes things were from our background. Sometimes it's our culture, like you say, a country, Mexico, US, or Canada, we have different cultures. But sometimes it's because our own families have this tradition or these ideas, and they were imposed.
Yes.
And we don't question them because that's the way grandma lived, mom lived, exactly. Or my aunt used to do this thing. So I don't question this because for sometimes it's the only thing you know. Exactly. And for others is your safety zone. So when you question them, you become like maybe a little bit uncomfortable doing so.
Yeah. So why are most people self-critical? Probably because their parents were self-critical. Maybe their grandparents. It was passed down. But once you see it's not helping you be the best version of yourself, you don't have to do it. It doesn't mean that you cut off from your family. It just means that you're living your life in a way that's so much healthier. So when you have a more self-compassionate relationship with yourself, you have better mental health, physical health, you sleep better, you have better relationships. Because if you're very critical of yourself, guess who else you can be very critical of? The people you love the most, and you don't want to hurt them, right? So sovereignty, and in some cases, maybe you start to do things a little differently. But at the end of the day, when you are there for yourself, you're modeling for others, right? Just think about all the women that modeled the self-criticism, and then we had to deal with that. And then guess who else deals with it? Our children. Like I remember once I had my baby in my arms and 3-year-old there, and they're crying and screaming, and I was tired after work, and I said something like, I'm not good at this. I just can't do this. I'm just not good at this. 3 weeks later, I hear my 3-year-old son, he may had some problem with his toys. He said the same words, Dip. See, see that? We don't want to pass that on. And the buck has to stop here. And sometimes you will also be showing your parents. If you're self-compassionate, your parents, they see that, and then maybe they learn something,
Sure.
At the end of the day, the goal is for everyone to live at their full potential. And we can only live at our full potential if we don't have blocks all around us. See that? So sometimes if it makes you a little uncomfortable, it will. Or others, it's okay, right? It's like if you don't, let's say everybody's drinking and then you choose not to drink. And that's provocative for some people. Why not? Well, because my body doesn't feel good when I do it. So maybe it's uncomfortable for someone, but at the same time, it's okay, right? And then maybe someone else will be like, oh, man, I was always forcing myself. Now I see I have the opportunity not to do that.
I have a choice not to do that.
Otherwise, yeah.
And I think that uncomfortable is good because uncomfortable makes us grow and makes us be better generally.
Just talking about that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the idea is what is the best for you so that you can be at your best for your family, for your friends, for your community, right?
I saw a reel or a TikTok last week that it said that sometimes people take this idea of whatever makes you feel bad, just cut it off of your life, or whatever makes you feel uncomfortable, just cut the relationship or whatever. But then they took it a bit further, and then they were a little bit selfish, or like you have to get uncomfortable, you have to get things done, you have to be there for a friend, even though you are having a headache or having a bad day, you have to be there for your friend or your neighbor or your mother. So where is the limit? And where can you say the line that it goes like, this is not good for me? Because of course, alcohol is a good idea. I mean, a good example, not a good idea, a good example. Sometimes it's a good idea, but not right now. But it's a good example because it's really easy to know, because it's harmful for your well-being and your body. But where do you draw the line and say, this action, this friendship, this relationship will hurt myself, and I think this is just a no, and I won't go a step further? Where do you draw the line?
So what I was just talking about is not necessarily cutting yourself off from people, but cutting yourself off from behaviors, beliefs that are hurting you and harming you from being the best self. I mean, I think relationships are often a mirror for us, right? So they're a mirror for parts of ourselves that are needing to heal sometimes, right? So, and they're not always, you don't always want to escape all of them. We were just talking about that, because I have a hard time with my in-laws, and I prefer not to go there. And so my husband goes with the kids, and then I have some breathing time. But Lucia was saying, you know, like, you should go. And she was in Mexican culture, you go, even if you're...
¿Estás de acuerdo?
And you know, and it's interesting because I come from a European culture, which is everybody's so independent. Our family everybody lives in a different country, like, and you know, and it's true. Like, if I go, I have a discomfort that I can face my own discomfort, and then see what I'm learning from that. So it's not necessarily cutting yourself off, but the kinds of things I'm talking about in the book is, like, for example, emotion, right? So a lot of times you won't feel good. We don't feel good. Let's say sad, angry, whatever. And then what did we learn to do with that emotion growing up? You just push it down, right? That's kind of what society tells you to do. And so what's the result? It grows. That's what the research shows. If you take anger and you suppress it at the level of the brain, it becomes stronger. And so, and what society also teaches us is, like, okay, like, eat this, do this, buy this, look like, you know, whatever, to distract, look at the phone, whatever, to distract ourselves. But then at the end of that, we're still feeling just as bad or worse, you know, and we've never been taught how to handle our emotions. So, you know, one of the things that children do is they feel their emotion 100%, and then how long does it last? Like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes maybe, right? It's gone. But how long can it last for an adult?
Yes, exactly.
And so one of the things talking about, so that's the thing where it can be uncomfortable to be sovereign, in the sense of just being with your emotion, just like feeling it. But then it passes, right? But in our society, it's more like, no, let me just watch a movie. Let me just, you know. So those are ways, but then you become sovereign over the emotion, and then you become stronger, and it's no longer pulling you down, you know? What do you think?
I think, español, ¿verdad?
Lo que
Mejor.
quieras.
Ya
están confundidos aquí, oyentes.
Que estar al tiro. No, realmente, o sea, me encanta lo que dice, porque sí es importante lo que dices de dónde llega el límite, pero sí creo que en la medida que, o sea, cuando ella habla del concepto de soberanía, o como yo lo interpreto, es que en la medida que tú estés en una mejor versión tuya, entonces puedes estar mucho mejor ahí para alguien más. Entonces, ¿cuántas veces no confundimos un poquito esta parte de querer mostrar nuestro amor y nuestro cariño y nuestro apoyo incluso a las amistades o a la gente cercana a nosotros, a nuestros hijos o a nuestras familias, porque es lo que nos toca y porque tenemos esta impronta de que así nos enseñaron, de que una buena mamá se va a sacrificar por estar con sus hijos siempre y se va a sacrificar por estar con el marido o con el amigo, con quien sea. Y este concepto del sacrificio, ella lo propone de una manera diferente, sino que es, a ver, para yo poder estar ahí para las personas que amo, es mucho mejor primero estar yo en un mejor lugar, ¿no? Y esta parte de cómo le hago para estar yo en un mejor lugar, pues hay mucho proceso de autoconocimiento y autocompasión. Y a mí me encanta el capítulo en el que ella habla mucho de autocompasión, porque sí creo que vivimos en una sociedad en la que no nos damos cuenta, lo que decías ahorita, que crecemos en este proceso y pensamos, bueno, es que es parte de, y cuántas veces no nos literal insultamos.
Claro.
O sea, qué idiota, se me olvidó, no sé qué, ay, qué imbécil, ya sabes, o sea, entonces te das cuenta que ella habla en el libro y me encanta que dice que tienes como imagínate un terrorista dentro de tu cerebro que te está todo el tiempo hablando de una forma que tú no le hablarías a alguien más así, porque te hablas a ti misma, así, si la relación más importante que tienes en esta vida es contigo mismo. Y a partir de ahí, de ese lugar y de esa relación contigo, puedes entonces show up for others y estar para los demás, y estar para tus hijos, y estar para todo el mundo. Entonces, ella en el libro habla lo que tú decías ahorita de muchas reglas o temas culturales que ella le llama imprinting, en español se tradujo el término científico real, es improntas, que son estas ideas que tenemos con las que crecemos que no cuestionas y que piensas que simplemente son. ¿no?
Así tiene que
Así
ser.
tiene que ser. Y sobre todo en una comunidad latina como nosotros, que también tenemos mucho el tema religioso detrás, que pues, y que está bien, que nos enseñan mucho a darnos a los demás. Y ese es un concepto que ella también comenta. El darte a los demás genera una felicidad a largo plazo. Y es uno de los secretos de la felicidad más grandes. Pero ¿desde dónde te estás dando? Desde un lugar de obligación y de tener que, y donde tú estás burned out, fatigada, muerta, estresada, o desde un lugar de autoconocimiento, de soberanía, de amor, de autocompasión, y ahora sí tienes esa batería para darte a los demás.
Sin pasar por encima de ti misma. Lo que pasa es que creo que a veces nos damos sin tomarnos en cuenta nosotros mismos y pasamos por encima de nosotros mismos. Yo tomé un diplomado en psicología positiva que me lo dio un profesor de Harvard que se llama Tal Ben-Shahar. Obviamente lo tomé online. Hace como 7 años. Creo que él ya no está en Harvard, no sé si lo conoces.
Tiene el libro de Happier.
Y nos lo dio antes de la pandemia, o sea, todavía no se usaba ni el Zoom. No me acuerdo ni qué plataforma era, pero pues yo ponía mi curso y era impresionante que él decía que cuando la primera vez que le dijeron a él, ok, vamos a hacer la prueba, cómo toman los alumnos tu curso de aprender a ser felices, a ver si les interesa, vamos a hacer la prueba. Y dice que el primer día llegaron, no me acuerdo cuántos cientos de alumnos, le tuvieron que dar una sala enorme y él decía, ¿qué está pasando mal para que tantos estudiantes en Harvard que en teoría deben estar felices porque están en una de las mejores universidades de Estados Unidos, que haya tanta necesidad para aprender a ser felices? ¿Qué está pasando mal? ¿No? Entonces creo que sí es un tema que tenemos que abordar. Digo, esto fue hace 8 o 9 años, pero es un tema súper, súper necesario porque cada vez es más necesario. No sé qué pasa, qué está pasando, que necesitamos cursos de cómo ser felices.
No lo aprendimos en la escuela.
No lo aprendimos
Fíjate,
en la escuela.
qué raro que tú dijiste una palabra y te dijiste, lo hacemos por obligación, y tú dijiste el maestro Tal Ben-Shahar. Aquí lo tengo. O sea, iba a decir,
me encanta
los
cuando
conceptos, sí, los dos conceptos que dijeron, y de hecho es la segunda pregunta, que es lo de la felicidad, porque sé que eres experta en no que cómo encontrar la felicidad, sino que realmente puedes definir la felicidad a largo plazo, la verdadera felicidad, o una felicidad temporal, porque pues me supongo, ¿verdad? Por lo que mencionaste. Y aquí está mi otra pregunta que viene, no sé si venga en el libro, pero sé que tú puedes contestarme esto. Este maestro que dice Christy, de este maestro de Harvard, dentro de los parámetros que pone para nosotros realmente ser feliz es tener conexión con la familia, un buen trabajo, un hobby, amigos, una posición económica que puedas tener tranquilidad, que mañana sabes dónde vivir, que vas a comer, que puedes pagar tus bills de la luz y todo eso, ¿verdad? Pero aparte, el número 1 y la clave a todo esto, el último eslabón, es el ser servicio a los demás, o sea, el darnos a los demás desinteresadamente. Nosotros, como dice Lucía, de una manera venimos de una cultura católica cristiana que viene un poquito de que si tú tienes este privilegio, porque naciste en tal familia, que tienes un papá, una mamá, alguien que pueda ver por ti y no tener que estarte preocupando, entonces tienes cierta obligación a dar a los demás. ¿Ok? Entonces, la misma función va a ser con dos diferentes estilos, uno por obligación y uno porque pues quieres buscar la felicidad. Either way, cuando lo das, cuando tú te das a los demás, cuando sirves a los demás, en las cuestiones que tú puedes ir a compartir tu tiempo, puedes compartir un libro, puedes compartir una comida, puedes compartir muchísimas cosas o ser útil y trabajar físicamente para lograr algo. Lo que sea, recibes ciertas químicos en tu cuerpo, una dopamina de felicidad inmediata y te recarga de energía porque te sientes tu self-esteem, it gets higher, tu valor a tu propio ser sube y esa felicidad es la que dices es irreemplazable. El caso es que, ¿cómo le hacemos para...? Yo siento que a veces, yo en lo personal, honestamente, aquí entre nosotros, I'm hooked on that dopamine. O sea, yo me hago adicta a esto. A mí me gusta ir a ayudar, me gusta servir, porque digo, como que I found a loophole in these things. ¿Cuándo está bien darte sin atravesarte a ti misma, como dice Cristi? ¿Cuándo está bien por obligación? ¿Y cuándo está bien porque, pues ya sé que esta es la felicidad, ¿cómo no lo hago?
Yeah. Yeah. So first of all, it is true that the greatest secret to happiness is compassion and giving to others, especially if it's balanced with self-compassion. You have to balance it because there's many people who go out and do a ton of service and then they burn out and they come back, they're like, that's it, I'm going into banking. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people like that. So if you can balance giving to others with recharging yourself, with self-compassion, with taking care of your body, of your mind, meditation, those kinds of things, that's a perfect balance. But what research shows is that when you do give to others, it does protect you from stress, it lengthens your life, it helps your health. But if you do it out of, because you want something for yourself, let's say, some people will get it, but they want their name on the book, you know what I mean? It doesn't have the same benefits. The research shows it doesn't have the health benefits.
There's research that it's not the same.
It doesn't have the same benefit. But I think if you feel pleasure and happiness doing it, that's
it's not
fine.
Selfish.
It's totally fine. It's normal also, right? But if you're doing it, I'm doing this so that I can get some recognition by whatever. You know what I mean? Then research shows it has a different outcome. That's why a lot of people want to donate anonymously. People like to donate anonymously. But yes, absolutely giving to others in whatever way, whether it's even just deciding that you want to put a smile on people's faces that you meet during the day. That intention alone has tremendous physical health benefits and mental health benefits. And like you said, it's a secret. People don't know it. They know it. They felt it, but they don't know it because society tells you, no, do all these other things. Look like this, buy this, whatever. Myths, achieve this, which are all fine. But that happiness is going to come and go quickly. But the happiness of compassion is last.
Me encanta una cosa que compartes, Emma, porque relacionado a eso, en esta sociedad en la que siempre queremos hacer más y más y más, y sí es cierto, muchos siempre estamos, a algo estamos inscritos, a alguna organización de algún tipo, donde vamos a dar útiles escolares, o Christmas, viene Navidad, y todo el mundo estamos dando juguetes y despensas, etcétera. Pero Emma, me encantaría que les compartieras los estudios de cuando tú eres, o sea, de cosas tan simples como cuando tú te propones en esa intención de todos los días, ser amable con cualquier persona que te topes durante el día y los efectos que eso tiene y que dice la ciencia en relación a eso.
Yeah, even if you have that, after food and shelter and safety, every human wants the same thing, which is to be seen, heard, valued, and appreciated. If you go about your day and you're like, I will look into the eyes of every person I meet, the waiter at the restaurant, this, that, just and let them know I see them and appreciate. Maybe uplift them somehow. Say something nice, right? It's like you can imagine yourself going through the day and just like dropping some sunshine everywhere you go. Like, that's like an intention that you can have. But what the research shows is that when you have that, or you're just help where you can, it actually has a trickle effect. So let's say you go to the grocery store and then somebody drops something and then you help them with their thing, pick them their stuff, and someone else watches you. That person, how do you feel when you see someone helping someone else, first of all?
Well, good, or to copy it.
Good, right?
Yeah.
You feel
Like pay it
inspired.
forward. Like
Yeah.
you want to do it also.
You want
Right.
it also, yeah. And it's a psychologists call it elevation. Like you feel moved, right? And then research shows, so if you observe that, it impacts 3 degrees of separation. So if you helped someone and you're observing them, then you are more likely to help someone. And then it trickles out to 3 degrees of separation. Someone you've never even met before is helping someone else because they witnessed that. And it's the same when you take care of your well-being and you're happier, then it impacts 3 degrees of separation. So if you're happier, then let's say your best friend's child's teacher is happier. It's like that, which is amazing when you think about the ripple effect. And also this idea sometimes that taking care of myself is selfish. And by taking care of myself, I don't just mean like chocolate and champagne, right? I just like the things that really, truly nourish you, like whether it's spending time out in nature, whether it's eating really well, sleeping properly, meditating. Those kind of things are just so profound in terms of the impact on the world.
The meditation also has a psychological and emotional effect, and it's proven.
So meditation, I think, to me, if anyone takes anything away from this conversation, is meditation. I always say, like, it's like we're all sitting on a gold mine. If you knew you were sitting on a gold mine, would you dig? Yes, right? At least for 40 days? Yes, you would dig for 40 days. Maybe I'm sitting on a gold mine. Well, meditation is that. And I always just say, meditate for 40 days and then see. But it has, so what the research shows is it improves your immunity, it improves your emotion regulation, it makes you happier, it makes you more focused, it makes your memory sharper, it makes your attention sharper, it makes you more innovative and creative, it gives you more emotional intelligence, you make better decisions, you think more clearly. I mean, and then physiologically your immune system goes up because your stress goes down. So it's just, it shifts the way your brain works. It makes you more aware.
Can it be a guided meditation?
So I definitely recommend guided because it's much easier. There's an app that I always share called Sattva because it's one of the largest meditation apps and it's completely free. It's very easy. It's Sattva. So I always recommend that because it can change your life.
Thank you. Dije, ahorita I'm going to rewind the episode and people search for it.
Sattva. And so that's one of the most powerful things you can do because we live in a time that's so extreme in terms of speed and information that's coming at us. You have to do an extreme act to balance it. Meditation is extreme. Just sitting, closing your eyes, you're not moving in a world that wants you to move all the time, and you're listening to a guided meditation. That's easy. Like,
how long do you recommend to meditate?
I would say at least 20 minutes a day. Ideally, you do it twice. Now, the morning, evening, this is when people are like, out of time. But then one question is, okay, how much time do you spend wasting every day?
In Instagram.
Yes.
Exactly.
And do you
Scrolling.
waste it with something that nourishes you, truly nourishes your body, your mind, your soul? Or something that depletes you, or is just garbage? You know?
Can it be combined in terms in religion? For example, there's also this side of like if you go to mass or you pray your rosary or whatever instrument or tool you have. I'm Catholic, so that's the ones I know, but maybe other religions have other tools. But it's also proven to be some kind of meditation. Could they be combined?
So I think when you're religious, you could think of it this way, that prayer is speaking to God and meditation is listening to God.
Okay.
It's different things. But most traditions, including the Catholic tradition, they have had contemplative practices, at least the nuns among the adoration, all those things. Like there is a moment of, is that from the Bible also? I'm trying to remember. Be still and know that I am, right? Mm-hmm. Be still and know that I am. When do you feel the presence? It's in stillness. It's not in activity and stress, right?
Which is interesting because if we think about it, when we go to church, or one of the things that I like when you go into a church, you feel sad or you feel you're going through something, it's the silence in the church that kind of soothes you. Because it's like, we're taught that, usually Jesus, if it's a nice figure, the Virgin or whatever spiritual force is there, that it's important to us. But it's that silence. You feel at peace. And I think that it's like a little temple of silence and of, drowning the noise that is outside.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I like driving in silence. I mean, I know it's not meditating, but sometimes I need silence in my head, so I can listen to myself.
Yeah.
And I do it driving because we are always busy and doing things and listening to somebody or someone or something. Yeah. And when I drive and I'm not listening to music or a podcast or whatever, I'm just in silence, I can listen to myself.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's in a world that's so noisy, it is so good to be in silence when you're driving. Definitely. And then meditation adds a whole other level because it works on your brain to become more aware. And you can have all sorts of creative ideas that can be really amazing, or solutions, or...
I like that. For me, that I just wanted to add, because meditation, and then there's like breath exercises. And it's important for people like me, in this case, that I am a person that has a lot going on in my head all the time. And the breathing exercises that you have studied with veterans, with war veterans, with just sky breath meditation that she introduced to me some years ago, and I'm addicted to it. Like it's like my personal ribotril, seriously. Like I love it. Because every time I'm feeling anxious or whatever, like you have it. All you need is yourself. That's sovereignty, right? That's right. I need it, and I think it's important because when you do these types of breathing exercises, there's a lot of regulation of your system, of the nervous system. And then once you're in this like calm state, then it is easier to meditate.
True.
So sometimes if you have a really hard time and you're like, oh, meditation's not for my, it's not for me. There's a lot of noise. I can't do it. And my thoughts go all over the place. First of all, it's okay for thoughts to go all over the place, but also it's important to know that you can do a breathing exercise first, and that's going to help you. It's a good introduction towards meditation.
And that was for me. So I was in New York during 9/11. So I had a lot of anxiety after that morning. I just would shake. And I tried so many things. And meditation was very hard at the time because it's like, I'm just sitting and feeling anxious. Like, this is horrible. And then I walked into a class, a breathing class. I thought, what is this going to be? Breathing, really? And then I did the class, and then they teach you a 20-minute practice. And they said, do this for 40 days. And I say, I'm going to do it because I don't believe you. And I'm a scientist. So I'm just going to study it. And I did it for 40 days. And this 20, 23, 24 years later now, I've been doing it every day, including the days I gave birth. Like, it's just been, yeah. And they teach, you can learn it even in Mexico online. It's Arte de Vivir, Mexico. You can learn it. But we studied that practice for veterans with trauma. So they were so anxious. They could not leave their home. Nothing had worked for them. And we found that in 5 days, their anxiety normalized. And it was still normal, like
wow.
Then a year later.
Just with the breathing?
Just with this
in the
particular type of breathing.
Wow.
Yeah, so it is something that is so, especially so many people have some level of trauma. So it's really great, like Lucia's.
Oh, we have trauma. Believe me, we definitely have trauma.
We all have trauma.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, yeah.
So meditating, breathing, what else can you...
Yes, I like the approach. I want to like list the bullet points, everything, because it's the first time that I'm discussing these topics that I love to discuss, but with someone who has this approach with science facts. Like you just said, I am a scientist. I know this has to work because in my mind, it's more earth than all these mystical things that they can tell me that it works. I need to prove that it works. Yeah. So it's that first time I can discuss this, that I know it helps. I know because I practice them some, not all of them, but also the people who listen to us, there will be a lot more convincing when this information comes with someone who has facts or studies.
Well, I'm a skeptic anyway, so
do I.
And so, yeah, no, I mean, we've seen it again and again. We have run several studies on this breathing practice, and it works. So for the veterans, it's amazing. For Yale students, we had them do it. It was better than all the other things that we compared the breathing to the sky breath meditation. So it's powerful because it calms the nervous system physically, and the mind is soothed. And it seems to have a real impact on trauma. So a lot of the veterans, they couldn't sleep before, then they start sleeping. So there's a woman that I talk about in the book because she's so sovereign. She grew up in the sweatshops of Nepal, Nasreen Sheikh. She grew up as a child slave. And then at 16, she's, thanks to, someone who helped her, she got out of there. Now she's a leader against human trafficking. But from someone who went from being a slave to a leader, this is amazing, right? She's just so soft. That's sovereignty. It's like, if she could do it, we should be able to do it, right? But when I met her, she said to me, my past is in front of my face. And I said, well, let's go do some breathing. And so she learned the sky breath meditation. She went from sleeping 3 hours a night for her entire life because of the level of trauma that she had to 8 hours a night.
Wow.
So it's really something. Yeah.
It really is.
So it's breathing.
Breathing, meditating. What else can you tell us?
Yeah. Well, obviously there's the basics, right? Are getting enough sleep and eating healthy food.
Exercise.
And exercise. Those are some basics. But then after that, I would say breathing and meditation, those are both very low-cost things. No one's marketing to you because no one's making a lot of money off of it, right?
Exactly.
Another thing is nature. Nobody's marketing nature either. But spending time in nature, research shows, dramatically improves your mental health, physical health, even your the way you connect with others. People start to be kinder to each other.
Yes.
And makes you more creative. It strengthens your cognitive function. And it's like, if you spend 3 days in nature unplugged, your creativity goes up by 50%. That's so much.
I have a question with that because we live in a city that is, I've told you before this, like there's a lot of pollution or there's a lot of noise.
Yeah.
So when you talk about nature, the other day you told me something that was interesting. You said, fill your house with plants. So as long as there's green life going around, that counts as nature. Flowers, yeah?
It's so powerful. Our relationship with nature is so powerful because obviously our ancestors were always in nature, right? That if you can't go out to a park, well, first of all, you have these beautiful mountains. And
Yes, we're surrounded by beautiful.
Amazing. But if there's, like, say, no nature around you, having plants in your house has the same effect. And if you don't have windows and you can't have plants, having posters of nature has it.
Oh.
That's just how sensitive we are to it.
Is it some kind of grounding, or
It may be grounding.
It may be.
Yeah, maybe grounding. I mean, I think there's nothing for grounding. Probably it's better to be in nature itself. But all of these things, they nurture our nervous system. Listening to bird song.
I always do that. I did it on my Instagram page. But ¿sabes por qué? Because birds, if you, in my house, I put birds chirping, okay? Like, the pajaritos. Because that generates well-being, because according to this study, if there are birds chirping, there are no predators nearby. So we are programmed to know that if birds are chirping, we are relax.
Yeah. Wow.
So birds, yeah, and there's like, you can go on Spotify and put birds chirping and then play that at your house.
Love that.
That's why there's a bird or nothing.
Also, I think for me, the birds of prey represent that freedom. You know, look at everything that's happened to the planet. The birds of prey, they don't care. They're doing their own thing.
Oye, está bien elegante.
Está bien bonito.
Está muy elegante, very elegant. I love it.
Ahorita que dijiste de que si no podemos tener ventanas o salir a la naturaleza, que con pósters de naturaleza. En alguna ocasión leí, no sé dónde, un estudio que dice que nuestro cerebro no registra lo real de lo que pensamos o imaginamos. Entonces, si nosotros nos imaginamos, vemos el póster y nos imaginamos que estamos en la naturaleza y que nuestro cuerpo percibe como si fuera real.
¿Cuántas veces no nos angustiamos con ideas que no suceden y nuestro cuerpo lo percibe como real?
Thank you very much for coming here. Gracias por traerla.
No,
Fue
gracias,
una
me
gozada.
encantan y me encanta lo
I'm
que
glad she was
promueven.
right?
No,
She needed
they-
to be part of
Yes,
it.
sure.
Of course, she needed to be part of it.
You-
No, ustedes son extraordinarias y me encanta que siempre promueven la lectura y promueven bienestar y promueven cosas que nos hacen también encontrarnos con nuestra mejor versión y son mujeres extraordinarias. Entonces,
Igual
qué
que
padre
tú,
que se
igual que
conocieran.
tú y que tú. Gracias por estar aquí.
Sí.
Muchísimas
Y
gracias.
no se nota porque pues obviamente que este es no es presencial, pero tiene una vibra de mucha paz.
Sí.
Sí,
Yo ya voy a llegar así hacia mi casa.
Yo creo que sí se nota porque hablas muy, al hablar transmites paz.
Sí, sí tiene mucha
Entonces
paz.
creo que sí lo van a poder percibir también nuestros oyentes.
viewers.
Sí.
That's what everyone has the right to feel peace, right? And that's what we're trying to share.
Yes. Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
Pues bueno, muchísimas gracias. Si les gustó, compartan, pónganle like. Vamos a dejar todos los datos de Emma en nuestras redes y también de Casa Editorial Todd por si necesitan una traducción o un libro. Muchísimas gracias y nos vemos a la próxima.